They thought he was just a quiet man having dinner with the woman he loved, until one night, strangers pushed too far and discovered a truth he had spent years hiding. Before you watch the full story, don't forget to subscribe to USA Drama 2.0 for more life-changing tales. The restaurant glowed under soft golden lights, the kind that made conversations gentle and evenings feel warm. Emma sat across from Daniel, the man she'd grown to care for more deeply than she ever expected. Her red dress shimmered softly each time she shifted, while Daniel, calm as always, watched her with quiet admiration. It wasn't an anniversary or a special holiday. It was simply a night they wanted for themselves, peaceful, slow, away from the noise of the world. Daniel wasn't much of a talker. Emma used to think he was shy, or maybe unsure of himself, but months of knowing him taught her something different. He was observant. He listened more than he spoke, felt more than he showed. His silence wasn't emptiness, it was depth. Yet behind that gentleness, Emma sensed something else. A weight, a shadow, a story he never told. Tonight, she hoped he'd open up. But the universe had another plan. The men who didn't know who they were facing. Halfway through their meal, Daniel noticed them first. 3 men entering the restaurant, loud and restless, pulling eyes toward them like a sudden gust of cold wind. Emma didn't notice them at all. She was focused on her salad, trying to pretend that the world outside this moment didn't exist. But Daniel's eyes sharpened, not with fear, with recognition. He sat a little straighter. The men laughed loudly, drawing glances from every table. They scanned the room as if searching for someone, or something, to entertain themselves with. When their eyes landed on Emma, sitting gracefully in her red dress, Daniel felt a familiar ache in his chest. He had seen this type before. He had been this type before, long, long ago. Emma finally looked up when one of the men, tall with an overconfident grin, took a step toward their table. "Evening," the man said lightly. "Didn't mean to interrupt, but we couldn't help noticing you." Emma froze. Daniel did not. "We're having dinner," Daniel said, voice firm yet soft. The man smirked. "Relax, buddy, I'm just saying hi." Another man stepped closer too, this one younger, tapping the table with his fingers. "Nice dress," he said to Emma. "You here for a special night?" Emma swallowed. "I'm just having dinner." "Then maybe you'd like to have a drink with us," the tall one added. Daniel's jaw tightened, not from anger, but from memories he wished he could erase. "Please," Emma whispered, "just walk away." But they didn't. They lingered, amused by her discomfort, clueless to the storm brewing inside Daniel. What Emma never knew, Daniel stood up slowly, not with violence, not with threat, just calm. "Gentlemen," he said, "this is your last chance to walk away peacefully." The men laughed. "What are you gonna do?" One mocked. "You barely even raised your voice," another sneered. Emma looked at Daniel, confused. She had never seen him stand like that, shoulders straight, eyes steady, breath controlled. It was almost as if he had stepped into another version of himself, one she had never met. The restaurant fell silent. Everyone waited. The tallest man leaned forward. "Look, we're just trying to talk." Daniel didn't raise his hands. He didn't make a single threatening move. He simply spoke, and it changed everything. "Years ago," Daniel said, "I lived a life I'm not proud of. A life filled with conflicts, decisions, and consequences I carry with me every day. I walked away from it because I wanted to be better, to finally feel peace. Please, don't make me remember the man I used to be." His voice carried something raw, something that made the waiter step back and even the loud men blink in confusion. Emma stared at him. This was not the Daniel she knew. This was a Daniel who carried scars she had never asked about. But the men didn't understand the meaning behind his words. They misread it as fear. And fear makes some people foolish. The tall one scoffed. "You're overthinking. Man, we're just having fun." Daniel exhaled, his eyes softened with regret, not anger. Then, with slow steps, he walked around the table and stood between Emma and the men. He wasn't blocking her, he was shielding her, and everyone saw it. Emma's heart pounded, not from fear, but from the realization of how deeply he cared for her. The youngest of the 3 men reached out, placing a hand on Daniel's shoulder as if pushing him aside. It lasted 1 second, because the moment the hand touched him, Daniel turned, stepped back, and gently removed the man's hand with a movement so smooth and controlled that the entire restaurant gasped. No aggression, no force, just a silent demonstration of precision and self-control. The young man stumbled back, startled. The other 2 finally saw what they were dealing with. Not danger, not violence, but a man with training far beyond anything they understood. Daniel spoke low. No one here wants trouble. Not me, not Emma, and not you. So please, walk away. You don't know the path I fought my way out of. Don't make me step back into it. The room held its breath. For the first time all evening, the men looked unsure. Daniel wasn't acting tough. He wasn't trying to intimidate. He was pleading, because he didn't want to be who he used to be. Emma felt tears in her eyes, not because she was scared, but because she finally understood. Daniel wasn't quiet because he was shy. He was quiet because he was healing. Finally, the tallest man lifted his hands in surrender. All right, man. We didn't mean anything. The three backed away, murmuring excuses, finally realizing they had crossed into territory they didn't understand. The restaurant exhaled all at once. Truth at the table. Daniel sat back down, placing his hands on the table, breathing deeply. Not shaken, just tired. Emma reached for his hand. He hesitated, then he let her hold it. Daniel, who are you? She asked softly. He looked away. Someone I never wanted to be again. Then why did you stop? She whispered. Daniel turned to her, eyes gentle but filled with pain. Because I wanted a life that wasn't built on fear or control. I wanted this. He gestured between them. A simple dinner with someone who makes me feel like I deserve peace. Emma squeezed his hand. Her voice trembled. You do deserve it, and I'm not going anywhere. His eyes softened, and for the first time, Emma saw something new in them. Relief. The past that doesn't define him. The manager approached them gently, apologizing for the incident, offering to move them to a quieter table. Daniel politely declined. Thank you, but we're fine here. Emma looked at him, amazed. You handled that better than anyone I know. Daniel smiled faintly. I didn't want to scare them. You didn't scare me, she said. You protected me. A long silence passed between them, soft, warm, meaningful. Finally, Daniel sighed. There was a time in my life where I thought strength meant being feared. Tonight reminded me that true strength is staying calm when you could choose something else. Emma's eyes glistened. Then you're stronger than you think. Daniel looked at her, really looked at her, and his heart finally rested. For years, he believed he didn't deserve love because of his past. But tonight, something changed. Emma didn't see his scars as warnings. She saw them as proof of survival, a new beginning. After dinner, Daniel helped Emma into her coat. The night outside was cool, the sky filled with soft golden streetlights. As they walked toward the car, Emma slipped her hand into his. Daniel, she whispered, thank you. He looked at her, confused. For what? For choosing peace, even when your past tempted you otherwise. It means more than you know. Daniel felt a warmth in his chest he hadn't felt in years. I'm learning, he said quietly. And I'm grateful I get to learn with you. Emma smiled, resting her head gently against his shoulder as they walked. And for the first time in a long, long while, Daniel felt safe, not because of his skills, not because he could protect himself, but because someone finally understood him and didn't walk away. If you enjoyed this emotional story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to USA Drama 2.0, where powerful stories come to life every day.